All right. Hello, Marc-Andre. First, could you tell me a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, your early academic interests, and what you would consider your own areas of expertise?
Thank you, Brandon. So Marc-André Gagnon, I grew up in Boucherville, South Shore of Montreal, in fact, working class family. And the thing is, no one in my family ever went to the university. So that was kind of something weird. The thing is, I was kind of super good at school. I passed 1 year. They wanted me to pass a second year. And I ended up, my parents did everything they could to send me to a private college. I hated that. So after 3 years, I went back to public school. I fell in love with school again and ended up, well, when I was in college, we have Cégep in Quebec. So I was super interested in international development and basically all the bad stuff being done by the IMF and the structural adjustment programs. And I've been asking some profs, so what should I do for university? Should I go in economics to understand the economic structures of our society? And the prof I contacted told me, well, go in political science. Economics is not for you. In economics, we're doing math, and you might not like it. So do political science and maybe a minor in economics. And this is what I did in the end. So I did my BA and MA in political science with a certificate in economics. I did a master's of advanced studies in economics in France, which was amazing, I must say. Then I went to York University for my PhD, still in political science, but really focusing on political economies. So I must say my main background is political economy. But I was at the same time hired as a lecturer in sociology. I did my postdoc in law. So I ended up with a very weird academic profile. So touching a bit of everything, but not focusing on any specific discipline. Everybody will tell you, well, this is amazing stuff. This is great. Somebody with a jack of all trades. Until you go to the interview for a job, then all of a sudden, well, if you're kind of too weird, you're not part of the discipline and we don't want to hear anything about you. But except for that, my focus has been in political economy, in fact, political philosophy as well, history of economic thought. So that was the main issues I was working on, interested in at the time. And so, for example, when I did my PhD, I was working on the evolution of the nature of capital in the knowledge-based economy. So it was something very theoretical about the nature of capital. And then my supervisor at the time told me something that was of great importance. He told me, Mark, what you're doing is super important, but nobody cares. So find a way for people to care about that. Use a case study. And then all of a sudden I decided, okay, let's focus on one specific sector. So that was pharmaceuticals. And during my PhD, I became an expert on pharmaceuticals, so the political economy of the pharmaceutical sector. And right now, in Canada, we have not a lot of people, independent academics working on pharmaceuticals, but this is an issue which every day in the headlines, the newspapers, there's issues about that. So there's a lot of demand on this specific issue. So I found a fun niche where I can use all my background in political economy, sociology, and law.
All right, great. So how long have you been working at the SPPA, and what brought you to start your work here at the school?
So I was hired in 2010. So that was 1 year after I began my postdoc in law and in intellectual property. I was beginning my second year at Harvard University for my postdoc in ethics. So I got the job at Carleton. I mentioned that when you're a jack of all trades, basically you're kind of weird and nobody wants you in their academic discipline because you're not focused enough. But when I did the interview for SPPA, the thing at the time is, well, first, I never wanted really to work at SPPA. I did not know anybody at Carleton University. So for me, I had no chance at all. So I thought that I was doing the interview because there was another prospect for a job in Montreal in sociology of science that I thought I had more chances. It's just I needed to practice for an academic interview. So that was the main reason I did the apply for the job at Carleton. But what happened then is because I know that sociology of science in Montreal, I would have to put aside some of my diverse background in order to focus on sociology of science. But in public policy, the thing is, you're weird and we like that. We like the fact that you touch many things. We like the fact that when it comes on a specific issue, you understand the different perspectives that relate to this issue. And that was something for me that was entirely new. So basically, I was being told, well, if you come to Carleton, you'll be able to continue continue your work in political economy, be as weird as you want, because this is helping for public policy. This is not basically an handicap, the fact that you will be using other disciplines with us. So this is what I really appreciated from the start. We're a small school as well, and you have this, in French we say convivialité. I think in English it's congeniality, but yeah, so the congeniality at the school was just amazing. So I felt that respected from the start, and everybody is there to help you. So even, I mean, we have some colleagues we disagree, but it's not because we disagree that we disrespect each other. At the contrary, there's mutual respect, but we have different positions, and I really, really appreciate that.
So can you tell me about the courses you currently teach, what they are, what they involve, and what they aim to teach students?
So I'm teaching, well, different course both at the school and outside the school at Carleton University. So I'm teaching one undergrad course on history of economic thought. I've been teaching with the Institute of Political Economy, a course on methods in political economy. But at the school right now, I'm teaching the one introductory course at the for the MA program, so modern challenges to governance. Also the introductory course to the PhD program called Current Issues in Public Policy. I really like these two courses. It's just in the past, we were teaching a different introductory course, more focused on the classics. So, okay, let's go have a debate about Michel Foucault, for example, or on Ulrich Beck. And we thought that, okay, we'll still discuss the classic a little bit, but let's focus on specific issues instead. And by focusing on the issue, then let's bring in the classics in order to have a larger perspective about what's going on. So I really like this new formula. I was a bit skeptical at first, but after teaching this to students, I must say, yeah, it works, I think, much better, and it allows them to better understand why the classics can be so relevant. Otherwise, I'm teaching, well, a course on pharmaceutical policy, which is my specialty. This year, I'm changing a little bit the course, so it's going to be pharmaceutical policy and health policy in times of pandemic. So I want to focus on the current pandemic, so what it means with vaccines and everything. So the understanding the health policy debates during pandemic. Otherwise, I've been teaching as well a course on social policy, which I really appreciate. So basically, it's how, as a community, we define what is the common good and what are we doing to try to reach it, basically. So different social policy that are being put in place. What are the problems with that? Structural racism, for example, is one of the issues. The way we fight poverty can be also very problematic and very focused on the middle class. So this is social policy, where I bring in also a more political economy, I would say. And finally, another course I really like is the capstone seminar. So at the end of the program, so the old cohort in the MA program as a course, it is the capstone seminar, and basically we focus on a case study. So this is one thing I really like teaching. The cases we had in the last years, it was the opioid crisis, this debate over smart city, the governance of smart city, a national strategy for rare diseases, the debates over basic income. So that was the 4 topics we focused on for the capstone seminar. So we have 60 students. We divide them in 10 different teams of 6 students each team representing a stakeholder. So what we do is for like 2 days, we invite a lot of experts, stakeholders to come discuss with the students about the issue, and then the students become stakeholders themselves. So their team must develop their own policy brief, and then they present this to a panel of jury. Karen Shepard, ex-lobbying commissioner, normally is there. Dalton McGuinty, so the ex-prime minister, is also there. So for me, that was a super fun course to teach. The thing is, it's super demanding, super stressful for a prof. In fact, we're co-teaching this, but this is still for me one of the most demanding courses, even if I'm co-teaching this. But every year, the feedback we got from students is just they really, really enjoyed that. So for them, it was a way to put everything they learn into a specific context and do something with it.
Okay, great. So can you share one of your favorite memories from your time at the school?
Yes, I can. Every year we have this soccer match, prof against students. And this is one of the highlights of every year when I'm doing this soccer match, because we can kick the beep of the students every year, and I like that so much. Basically, if they win, we can start threatening them with notes and everything in order to make sure we win the game. And we've been winning for the last, well, I've been there for 11 years now, so, and we're just amazing. So that's one of my good memory.
All right, well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for answering these questions and taking the time to participate in this interview, Marc-Andre.
My pleasure, Brendan.